Hello. Today I have a brand new book published just last year called The Mountain in the Sea by Ray Nayler. And it is a science fiction book, science fiction book. It has nice symbols around the side, and these symbols are critical to the book. You can see that it has a creature that looks a good deal like, well, an octopus. That's because the octopus is pivotal to the story. It's about a dystopian time somewhere in the future. Could be 50 years, could be 20 years, who knows. And there's lots of AI machines around. There's a big AI ship, a fishing ship that is trolling the seas, and it is completely operated by itself, by this brain within the wheelhouse that's sealed up, so anybody on the boat can't get inside. And who is on the boat? Just guards and these enslaved fishermen that they pick up somewhere, Shanghai, and take them off on the boat. And they are forever just riding in the sea, enslaved to do this fishing work in this horrible boat. And the AI and the machine just goes all around the sea looking for where there's some fish, because it's all kind of depleted, because this is in the future. It's already depleted, but it's going to be even more depleted. So this reminded me a lot of, this part of the book reminded me of The Death Ship by B. Travin, which is a terrific novel from like the end of the 20s. His first novel, really. And it's about a Shanghaied sailor who gets thrown on a ship like that and has to work as a slave for and the wrinkle in that was that he had no way that, even if when they did go to shore, he could not go and stay because he had no papers. And it's also about how the rise of nations and papers and all these things contribute to the lack of freedom of people to move around the earth. He says at one point that people could just walk across Europe if they want to without having to show papers to people. Of course, then you have to deal with the locals, and who might not want you walking by their farm or their tribe or whatever. At any rate, that part of the book, it's this novel has a few different sections of things going on. There's this guy that gets shanghaied onto this boat, and the main thrust of the story is this preserve set aside by the autonomous organization of the Tibetans, which has an AI machine. There's a lot of AI in this book. Either everyone is a machine, or there's not very many characters. It's very much kind of an ensemble, chamber music sort of a book. It doesn't open out into a grand big world that he's showing us. It's all these little areas of this one world that is depleted of resources, and basically all these AI machines kind of running everything. So the main action is on this island in the like South Pacific, and it is a protected zone to protect the sea life around there, and this is where the octopus is doing its thing. And one of the main characters, Ha, is a scientist who goes there to try to make contact, basically, with the octopus. And on this island, there is one other person who is actually a robot, a android, a completely past the Turing test machine that is assisting in this operation. There's a lot of loneliness in this novel. The character Ha is lonely and gets propelled into a science career because of that. The guy on the boat is lonely because he was intending to go to the big city and become rich with money sent from his parents and all that, the old immigrant story, and he ended up getting hijacked, shanghaied onto this boat instead. So he's lonely, and he's out in the middle of the sea. The android is lonely that is assisting Ha because, well, that android is the only one and no more can be made, and they have been sent there, exiled there, so because they might be dangerous. So what is going on in this book is it's a lot about human communication, in that the humans are trying to humans and assisted machinery are trying to communicate with the octopus. And I won't tell you what goes on, but it's a satisfying novel. Another interesting part of this is that one of the characters was like a remote viewer. These people who can sit in a room and sort of think about a site somewhere else. So this character is kind of based on that kind of a thing, except he was once again a lonely kid, and and plus he was poor, so he didn't have technology. So the idea of this character is that he has learned to hack into things with his mind, so he does not use a technical iPhone or any sort of terminal device to get into the AI systems. So he is like a hired detective, a hired break-in person who looks for the vulnerable, a hacker basically, who looks for the vulnerabilities of systems, of AI systems, and he's hired by people he doesn't know. Another lonely aspect, like one of the people he is in contact with to set him up for this particular job that is pertinent to the plot of the story. He never sees this person. Their face is all obliterated with an electronic sort of smush the whole time, and he sees their hand and so forth and talks to them, but he never sees their face because it's a secret mission. So that was fun, how he, this, remote viewer hacker kind of guy. That was another part of the book that was really enjoyable and interesting and new to me. Made me think about a lot of things going on today. In a sense, I was reading actually a Chris Hedges book at the same time called Empire Evolution. And actually I saw this book in a Chris Hedges YouTube broadcast where he had read it and was talking to the writer. So that I was happened to be reading Hedges. I sort of read a nonfiction and fiction at the same time. So was reading this Hedges book, and what he talks about is in the book is it's all about the corporate structure of America and how it's all locked in and it's sort of going on its own, and the reading this book while reading that one, it made me think a lot about AI and how we already have this kind of inhuman AI controlling everything now. And that's the corporate system that basically owns the world, owns America with their corporate lobby and so on and so forth. So it was interesting to read the book and think about these things at the same time. So I would recommend reading The Mountain in the Sea for some time to think about who you are and the basic loneliness of us here in this skin existence, and a lot about the communication that we try to do. Like what I'm doing right now is advanced. I'm speaking to you, and then on top of that, it is being recorded. And on top of that, it can be seen in the future. So this is how knowledge is passed on from, I mean, not particularly here, there's no knowledge particularly being imparted except about this book, but in the real world, that's a disadvantage that the octopus have right now, in that they live a short life, they don't interact with their young, and so therefore they have trouble transporting the knowledge they're gaining from the experience now onto future generations, which we have achieved rather grandly with this technology I'm speaking to you through right now, and YouTube and all the rest of it. But so that's the speculation of the book, is what would happen if a species on Earth, you know, that is, you know, as much of an alien to us as anything else in outer space, really, even though we've been living here on this same planet with them for, you know, forever, and we cannot speak with them. Not only that, we can hardly speak and be understood between us, the same species. But the idea of the book is, what if another species was evolving on another timeline parallel to us and coming up with a way to communicate, and would we even know it, and what would their communications be like, and would we be able to communicate with their communications? So, brand new book, Mountains in the Sea. I will in the breakdown for the show, I will put the Hedges show as well, so you can look at that, as well as my written review of this that I put on Substack and other places. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you another time, I hope.